It's Don, the Auction Professor here. I was out doing some hauls. I went by a picker, and it's one I don't see very often. He's a ways out, so I went by a thrift store as well, too. There's one way out. It was a little bit of a drive. I've got some records as well, too, that are sitting down here. But this is some of the stuff here, or most of the stuff here I got from him, as well as from a thrift store, as I said. So I'm going to show you some things. I'll tell you where I got them. Some of them still have the prices on them. I didn't bother taking everything off yet. I'm just trying to sort them and bin them so I know where they're going to be, and try and put them in somewhere so we know when to list them. But one of the most interesting things, it's a Cal Custom 1960s. It's a gas pedal. I get these quite often. Well, I shouldn't say quite often, but maybe once every other month or so I'll find something similar to this. This is probably worth about 40 bucks or so. I got $2 into it. Guy didn't even know what it was. I knew instantly. It just bolts onto the bottom of the old cars. It's just literally a foot pedal, literally what it looks like. So, pretty good item. Hot rodders and stuff get them. It's a Cal Custom. It's a Taiwan piece, but they're sold through a California company, or were back in the 60s and 70s, to the hot rodders and rat rodders and stuff. But these are pretty neat. I've had one just like this. I mean, almost identical in every way, just a month or two ago. So these do show up. You will see them. If you don't know what they are, they're foot pedals. So good item. This is just a wooden and brass lined ruler of some sort. It needs some cleaning up. Some of these can be cleaned. You can clean the wood even, believe it or not. It's just something that'll take a little bit of time. If it's not worth much, I'll just throw it out the way it is. I've got some folding rulers and some other vintage wood ones with brass decorations on them that I can throw this together with, worst case scenario. So I paid $1 for it. A lot of these things you should at least get 8 or 10 bucks for, so I figured, I'll do okay no matter what. And ashtrays I look for too, mostly Las Vegas. This is Meet Me at the Pioneer Club and Cocktail Lounge, First and Fremont Street, Las Vegas. Now this is like 50s. Some of these I've sold for 50, 60 bucks. I don't know this specific one. For $0.25, it was worth a shot. I think this one came from the thrift store. Yeah, this one was thrift store, I believe, too. So, for $0.25, can't pass that up. It's at least worth 5 or 10 bucks, and, worst case scenario. And I've got others, so I can always just throw this into a lot if I have to. This was pretty cute. This is actually a candlestick. It's not marked, but it's solid brass. It's a nice piece. It's a mouse reading a book, anthropomorphic mouse candlestick. Something like this, I'll probably put like $34.50 on it and just see what happens. Maybe there's other ones up there and I can use that for a judge. But it's very heavy. It looks like it's well done. It's in excellent condition. This should sell very well, I would think. These banks I pick up too. 1963 Greater Profits and Greater Savings on the ball. This is, I don't know what it's really for, but it says 5% ice cream, 4% milk. No idea what that is. But for a bank, this is 50 cents. It's like an early plastic. I figure I'll at least get 8, 10 bucks out of it. So, it's worth buying. This was 50 cents. He probably didn't know how old this was. This is like 1890s-ish. It's all tin. It's coated. It's done very well. It's been tinned all the way around, even after where it's been sealed. Something like this, this is probably like a Spanish-American War issue. I'll probably get 14, 15 bucks for it minimum, maybe a little more. It could be older than that. Some of the Civil War ones look similar to this. Somebody will know, I'm sure, the people who collect these. But it's an interesting item. Again, it's probably handmade. Tin cup. This one here I paid like $1 for. This should sell. Again, it's a pink. It's a Victoria's Secrets. These go for like 8 bucks or so. I usually sell every one I get. I put them in lots before too, like if I've gotten a few of them in the same week or two. These do show up. These are a promo of some sort, but they're popular items. Pink, the store. Let's get some of the other items out of here. Now this here, it needs cleaning. It's all leather. This here doesn't look like much. Most people pass these up thinking it's a damaged hat. But this is like maybe World War I, World War II-ish base for the hat. You could put on different tops on these. And it's a Marines hat, U.S. Marines. It has the black painted buttons, so it's probably like World War I. It's got a nice early marking on it. It's a decent piece. It has a military marking. It's, you know, the whole works. It actually has a guy's name on the inside of it, which I always look inside the brim here. You can usually see a name. People write it in there just so someone else doesn't swap their hat or anything like that. They can always tell who it is. But I always look for that around the brims and leather. People sometimes write their, you know, military ID number, things like that in these. But this was $1. Guy didn't know. He thought it was just ruined. I pay $1. These are 14, 15 bucks any day of the week, or more, depending on the age. And this one, as I said, is an earlier one. It's got the clips and everything still attached, so this is a pretty good piece. Play school items. I showed you one, I think, in the last haul video. One of the little paddle toys. I get vintage play school all the time, especially something like this that's still in the box. I don't know. Let's see if there's a date on it. 1982, so, you know, it's still a vintage, early, decent piece. This one I'll probably get like 30 bucks for, somewhere in that range. Again, Play School always sells for us, always. I'll get this out of the way next. Dragon Dominoes. I sell a lot of Dominoes. I usually pick them up whenever I can. This is a big set. There's actually 90 some out of these. They're double 12s. I'm not sure what this one's worth. It's in Halcyon. But the bigger sets like this, I usually get at least 15 bucks for. I paid $2 for it. Most Dominoes, you're safe paying $2 if it's vintage. At least 70s, which I would say this set is 70s or probably 60s, more like it. But that's a good plus here, you know. Should be a quick turn on these. Let's go show you these. I got some cross-stitch items. They were 35 cents was the asking price at the thrift store. I actually got them at half that. There was a half price on some of these items here. So I grabbed a bunch of these, you know, so 2 for 35 cents. I'll get 7, 8 bucks minimum for these. These are nice chunks of fabric, you know, 8 to 14 count cross-stitch fabric. Again, I'll put these in a lot worst case scenario, but for 17.5 cents a piece for these go for like 10, 15 new. There's some better ones in here, some brown colored ones, some nicer looking ones. These were half off again, so these were 27 cents a piece. These for sure I'll get like 8, 10 bucks. I thought there was a price from when they were new, but I don't see it on here. And then these were in there too, and these were 50 cents a piece. These are from Watership Down. It's an entire set. It has the fabric, the instructions, and, you know, the thread as well too. I normally don't buy anything like this. Watership Down wasn't a big mover. It's not a big, huge, popular cartoon. But as a lot, these two for $1 for the two, I'll probably get 15 bucks for them, maybe a little more. The kit ones do well for like characters. Like if it was Disney or something, I would sell this very well. You know, 20, 30 bucks with the fabric and the thread. But for the few cents I have into these will do well for us, and we'll make some good money. Let me get a few more things from down here, just to show you. Pewter items. These are vintage 60s Hong Kong, and it's got very heavy pewter. So even at scrap value, for the $1 I paid a piece for these, nice brass ornamentation on them. So they're very good items. Again, they're marked on the bottom too, 60s-ish probably. This is a ginger jar. This thing weighs like a pound or better. So even in scrap pewter value, again marked. These are probably like, you know, 4 or 5 bucks in pewter probably, because it's at least a pound or two. These are very heavy, so, and they're very well made too. I've got a couple more pieces of this, but I'm going to probably put like 15 to 30 bucks is what I'd estimate on any one of these. I believe the last one, I've had these before. They show up fairly often. They're mid-mod century too, they could be considered. But I'll probably get like, you know, 15, 20 bucks minimum for these. This one here, because it's a ginger jar, maybe 30. And this one here, because it's like a desk container, maybe in that same range. But they're still interesting, good pieces. For $1, I'll buy them all day long. And worst case scenario, I'll just scrap the actual metal. You can scrap stuff too. I scrap quite often. I got little buckets of stuff. A couple of my pickers scrap, and another guy I exchange stuff with scraps too. So you know, you go to a garage sale and you might find a tray of brass tray for $1, and there's like 3 or 4 pounds there. So some of those are, you know, worth 20 bucks in weight, maybe even. Brass sometimes is up to $3 a pound. I don't know what it's at right now, but you know, that's something to think about. A couple other things I got. Couple coffee mugs. Now this one is a Deneen, D-E-N-E-E-N Pottery Company advertising mug. Now this was 99 cents at the thrift store. This wasn't half price. I paid 99 cents. These go for like 14 bucks. There's a couple from this brand, maybe it's an 8-ball or something on them, that go for like a couple $100. So I always look for this, D-E-N-E-E-N. Coffee mugs by them usually sell fairly well. You know, if you're paying 50 cents to $1, you should at least get 10 back, I would imagine, for most any of their mugs. Here's a local department store, the Hall Bros, Company Hall Brothers. This is an advertising coffee mug, you know, 23 karat gold. It's oven proof. It's Salem pottery. Now, I've had some Salem. We sell the atomic pattern, the starburst, quite often. You can look it up, mid-century Salem pottery, and you'll see it. There's a bunch of different brands, like Blue Heaven and stuff will sell too, but this company sold a lot of that stuff. This is an advertising piece from the store, and this one was half price, so I paid 50 cents for this. I'll probably get 14, 15 bucks. It's probably from one of the local establishments, but it's 1940s or so, so it's a good piece too. Here's some advertisements. This is Ampeg. It's like a newspaper promotional item, probably from a store. It's got a Rolling Stone cover issue. It's like from the 70s or something, and it's got Plug. I think it's called Plug Magazine. Yeah, Plug Magazine. It's the first issue. No idea what it's worth. I'm not sure even if, you know, there's many of those printed. But it came with some early Rolling Stone magazines, you know, the first 100 or so issues. Rolling Stone magazine used to be a newspaper, you know, with fold-outs and stuff in it. But these are all Rolling Stone. I paid $0.25 a piece for these. I have no idea what the Rolling Stones go for these days. I've sold a few with, like, John Lennon for, you know, 50, 60 bucks in not good condition. But these should go very well. They're all original, so for 50 cents, I'd guess, you know, at least 10 bucks maybe. And then I got some Red Cross items, too. This was from my picker. This is a yearbook for Red Cross. I had no idea that they had like a campus. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, somebody shoved some religious things in it. But it's literally like a campus yearbook from, you know, it's got, you know, regular activities like you'd see in a high school, quiz bowl teams, and all kinds of stuff like that. You know, cheerleaders, the whole works. It's just an interesting item. No idea what it's worth. I'm guessing at least 15 bucks. I paid $1 for this, and then 50 cents a piece for these American Junior Red Cross news magazines from the 50s. This one here, Santa Claus, I'm gonna at least put $17.50 on it. Another winter issue. Interesting, cute cover. Again, I'll probably put the same price on this one. Same with all these. I picked out. They had a bunch of them. Most of them just look like, you know, junk, or they weren't in great condition, but all the Christmas ones with Santa I purchased from him for that 50 cents. So you'll see just the Christmas episodes or the Christmas issues. The only ones I figured that are probably worth some good money, but these are probably going to be like 10, 15 bucks a piece, maybe more. Minimum, I would say 10, 15 bucks. So that's another good stack of stuff. This one I won't be able to really show you too much because it's a full, huge poster, world map poster. And these vintage ones do sell too. Maybe I can show you a little bit of it. Let's do it this way. It's a huge poster, 60 by 80, or, oh, I'm sorry, it's 50 by 38. The world's latest giant color print map. I'm not sure who made it. It's the American Map Company. No idea on this one. It was 50 cents. It was in a bin. I'll show you some of the other stuff that was in the 50 cents area. I'm at least going to get 10 bucks for it. It might be worth 40 for all I know, but I'll look it up. 10 bucks at least for 50 cents investment. These are from my picker too. I bought a lot of these. This was 10 bucks for all of these. They're Spanish lobby cards, basically, that would sit in the windows. They're not all Spanish. I'll take that back. I didn't really look through them very closely. Greatest Show on Earth. This is a U.S. 1967. Again, some of these should go very well. Here's actually a Humphrey Bogart one, 1952. So that's probably an original. Again, 10 bucks is what I have in all of these. So, you know, I'm probably looking at, you know, 10, 15 bucks minimum a piece for most of these. Even in the condition they're in, these don't show up very well. I'll have to really look up some of these to see who they are and what they're worth. But even in rough condition, some of these do sell. Let's see. Jack the Giant Killer. No idea who this is. You can see the cheesy special effects, just arms sticking through the wall. But stuff like this, again, these do sell very well. You know, 15 bucks, 10, 15 bucks minimum for any one of these is what I'd probably put. Here's some kind of advertising poster for Around the World Under the Sea. This is 1966 Lloyd Bridges movie. Keenan Wynn. I have no idea on these. Again, I'm going to at least get 10 bucks a piece for them. At least that's what I'm going to put on them, minimum. No way I'm putting less than that on it. And some of these will probably go right off the bat. I try to get lobby cards and stills and promotional movie posters whenever I can. The horror ones sell the best. Sci-fi second best. There's even a few of the same ones. But some of these I recognize the musicians in them. Some of these are spy movies. Some of these are released in the U.S. as well, as you can see. Let's clear this up a little bit so you can see these all a little better. Okay, there we go. Again, decent ones. I'm not sure on all these Spanish ones, but for the price, I'll at least be able to put them in a lot and probably double or triple my money on these for sure. Because that's usually what I do with these. I sell these all the time. I've got a ton of these. I've probably got 100, 150 lobby cards here in the house right now. Half of those are probably still sitting on shelves, and this will just give me a more incentive to pull that up and move them up sooner. Some oddball ones here too. There's several from the same movie, as you can see. And again, I don't know who all these people are, so we'll just go from there. But for 10 bucks, if you see this kind of lot, I don't think you can go wrong. Especially if it has some, you know, sexy images on them or something, what would be considered that, like this one here. Again, there's a bunch of them here. I don't know how many, maybe 15, 20, 30 of them. Some tape or something. But again, there's a decent lot. I'm sure you can find all these movies listed. Anything movie-wise, you can usually find references to it on, you know, an online site. Let's see here. What else I got? These were thrift store. These were in the quarter bin. These are Burger King from like the 70s or 80s. Let's see here if there's a date. 85. I wished I had the other glass, but they're just glass holders. They're just glass holders. DC Comics. These should do very well. The lot here, you know, for the quarter piece, I got 50 cents into these. I should take home 10, 15 bucks easy for this. Let's see here. These are stir sticks and swizzle sticks. I paid $2 for this big bag right here. I'll at least get 15 bucks if I sold them all together. On some of these, I've sold some individual ones for like 10, 15 bucks, you know, all day long. It's kind of like a pencil thing, but there's less of these that are worth money compared to pencils. So you might want to just scan through these when you buy these lots. If you don't want to mess with it and you spend $1 or $2 on a big lot like this, just put it up for like $24.50 and just take whatever. That's what this is going to go as. So, you know, it's not a huge, big mover, but I will sell these. They'll sit there maybe for a month or two and then they'll be gone. So, you know, that's how that works. Let's show you these. These are from my picker. I paid $1 a piece for these. These are like Spanish-American War era military buckles. These are cross buckles. There would have been a belt going this way, and then another one going this way, and that's one might have held a sword, and one might have held something else, backpack or something. But these are good early items. And then here's like a cadet-style buckle as well, too. Solid cast, you know, same time frame. You know, 10, 15 bucks a piece I would gather on these. Or maybe I'll throw them together. Who knows? You know, 30, 35 bucks says a lot. Just depends on how quick you want to sell them. Here's an old, this was $1. It's nothing special. I wasn't sure, you know, era on this or age, but it's baseball related. So for $1, I figured, you know, I can't go wrong. Home run chewing gum. I'm sure it's probably some sort of, you know, very modern reproduction. It's not a friction toy or anything, but even still like this, I should get, you know, $8 for it, $10 for it. You know, and this is just something that doesn't take much to list. There's no real issues with returns or anything like that. Just should just be a quick throw it up, you know, kind of thing. 3 pictures and hand it off to one of my listers and it's going to be up. So, you know. let's see here. This is thrift store. I don't remember how much I paid for it. I've thrown it in this bag because these can get dusty and dirty. It was $3. It's a chainmail mod mid-century purse. Nice little heart emblem here. Let's see here if I can. It has satiny silk. This is an original. This isn't a reproduction or anything. This is an original. I think it has a tag. Yeah, it actually still has the tag, and it's a Whiting and Davis. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they make sterling and things. It took me a minute to find the Whiting and Davis mark on this. I wasn't sure that it was anything, but it's Talon, zipper, which are usually the early ones. It's marked early. This is definitely a mid 1950s purse. The last one of these I had was gold, and I got like 24 or 25 bucks for it. So for $3, I'll probably put a little more on it. I think the silver seems to sell better, so I'll probably put like 34 on it and get somewhere in that range, would be my honest opinion on that. This was there too. This is a very heavy, it's made in Spain. It's a door knocker. It's complete. It's never been used. It still has the paperwork in here. They've, whoever had it took it out, and the inside plastic is opened, but it wasn't used, and you can see it's all there, never been touched. For $2, there's, it's over a pound of brass, so it's worth more than $2 just for brass. But the last one of these I sold, and I get these occasionally. I buy hardware, and I'm going to show you some more in a minute here. But I buy hardware all the time, and the Spanish ones and stuff, the J&D brand, they do go fairly well. This is like 14, 15 bucks, so, that's a good deal. Next one here, this is a 1960s China-made boxed tin friction toy. Now, some of these can go for, like 50, 60 bucks. Those are usually the made in Japan, 1950s, 60s. This one here, I paid $1 for it too. Doesn't look like anything really, so, and he thought it was just junk. It might not be worth a fortune, but I should at least get 15 bucks for it. It's got the box. That's the key here, and it's an original vintage one, so, that's a plus here. Let me get you some of the stuff. I have some more stuff here on the floor. So I am going to grab some more stuff and pull it up here, and we will go over this as well too. And I've got quite a bit today, so bear with me. I've got quite a bit today, so again, this is from a couple places. I went by a thrift store, and there was another stop, so actually this is like 3 places, but this is from the third little store. It's like used furniture and stuff, and they get, sometimes used records and stuff, but I got these in there. I paid $1.50, I think. Yeah, I paid $1.50. They're kind of messed up on the back a little bit, but I'm just going to yank these off probably, and then maybe mount a little hook on it or something. But these are from Persia. Now, these frames are marquetry. Those are all little tiny pieces of metal and ebony and bone. This is camel bone in here. And literally, every one of these little things, all these little pieces were hand-done. This is one I ran, was called Persia. This is actually bone. Now, I'm sure they didn't know this. I run into one of these every couple months. Usually a couple bucks a piece is all I pay for them. They think they're just mass-produced junk. But this is all hand-painted inside here. They're not worth a fortune, so don't get all excited, but these are like 30 bucks. This one should go for like 34, 35 bucks. It's a nice image. It's very attractive. Again, every little piece of this is hand done. No idea why they don't go for more than that, but they're really neat looking items. These still sell, regardless of what they are. I saw a lot of religious stuff either way. This is a nice piece. I got 2 of them actually for that $1.50. And the other one's probably worth about 50 or 60 because it's a battle scene. It's horses, and sword battle. Again, this is like a piece of bone that's been placketed together or rolled. I'm not sure how they do it. Maybe they shave it or something, but it is bone. I have opened this up. It's definitely some sort of bone, and it's usually camel bone on these. And again, this is all hand painted, every inch of this, and then marquetry again on this one too. Again, the back's a little messed up here, and that's probably why they just blew it out for $1.50. No big deal to me. I'm just going to yank these off. The frame and the picture is what's worth the money. You can mount something on it. People usually put these on the wall anyway, so most people would yank that off. But again, $1.50, this is probably at least 54 bucks, at least. Because of the size, it's larger than usual, and it's got a good content and scene. And I talked about hardware. I just showed you the knockers. These I pick up at, every garage sale I see that's doing construction. I always ask, do they have any leftover Pella window parts, any window parts, any door parts, any hooks, any cabinet knobs, any cabinet, hinges. All of that stuff sells. These Pella items I pick up for 50 cents a quarter or less constantly. And these came from the thrift store, actually. Usually I don't see these at the thrift store, but these are thrift store finds. And I'm surely going to do like $8-10 minimum on these. The last Pella lots that I've had were knobs and latches and hooks. Those go for like $30 a piece. Just if they're sealed, always ask. And ask if they got any of the leftovers. Always buy these. Don't pay more than $1 for like the handles and hooks, because they're going to set for a little while, but you're going to sell them. I've sold like last year probably like 70 or 80 little Pella pieces, all still sealed in the things, and from dozens of different garage sales and stuff that I see. Even at some of the sites you see houses being built, and they're throwing out stuff down by the street. If you see somebody out or you feel like enough courage to go ask them for this stuff. I do ask, and I used to ask all the time. I don't really need to anymore for these, because I do run into these, or one of my picker does now, but I asked for these forever, and I found them constantly. And again, not just Pella, but Pella is one of the best brands to buy. This is a bolo all day long. If you don't know about these, look them up for yourself. Look up Pella new leftovers, replacement parts, however you want to word it. They sell constantly. I got like $1 into this here, maybe $1.50. This is like $50 minimum right here. These just little tiny pieces, and some of them are just tack screws and things like that. A piece of wood with 6-8 tacks. As long as they have the number on them, you're all set. The item number. That's the only way you can really list these, unless you're going to dump them off on a lot or something on eBay. But the good money all day long. I picked up some Legos. This was off the thrift store. It was a bag on the wall. This was $1, and there was some other stuff in here too. I got rid of the other junk, and it's just got some of the better Legos, like an actual zip toy thing that you pull and it moves. There's some figures in here. There's actually 2 sets in here of these, whatever they are, but they're the new Legos. I looked him up. He's probably worth about 10 or 15 for this lot here, so really good purchase for my money. And again, there's 2 sets here, so like $8-10 a set minimum. 18 bucks, so somewhere in that range. And again, some more pewter. Again, this thing weighs like probably 2 pounds almost. It's a Penco. Turtles always sell. It's a vintage mod, mid-century, 1950s, 60s. Brass highlights on it as well. These are interesting. We have a pet tortoise, so I love turtles. I always find these turtle items, and sometimes the wife ends up keeping them, but this one here, I've got one similar already, so we're going to let this one go. He's probably worth 20 bucks, so probably in the collectibles, the animals section. There's a turtle section, literally, if you look, so if you're not aware, collectibles does have animal-related items in it, too. That's just like if instead of listing books, if they're on certain animals or certain things, sometimes I list them in the animal section. Listing books is a toughie for some people. You don't always want to list the book in the book section. Probably maybe 30% or so of the books I list do not go into the book section. I list them in other sections. Cowboy section, sometimes I list stuff in. The westerns, sometimes I list them in toys. Sometimes I list them in comic books. Sometimes I list books in animal section. So you just really got to pay attention to where they sell it and do some little research. Again, that's research. If it sells better in the animal section, I'm selling the book in the animal section. You're not going to have as much competition selling the book in another area, away from books. People are just looking for books, different story. You might, lose out a hair, but I really doubt it. Book section, is great for selling, the average books, but some books just do better selling them in other categories, like the historical section in the collectibles. I sell some books in there too. Like there's a section under the historical for like colleges and universities. I put my books there. If it's a yearbook or a school-related book, I put my books in that section as well too. So you just got to watch out where you're putting them and where they would sell best. Do not always think that the books need to go in the book section. That's a big, big mistake a lot of people make. But good item here. I still have more items. Let me show you this one real quick. I showed you one of these not too long ago. This is from California. This is a 3-foot long, it's a picture of a base. Now this is a mass-produced one. It's not actually, I don't think, well maybe it is. Some of these were mass-produced and they're not actually photos, but either way, this is like World War II-ish I paid $2 for this. Again, I sell these in the, say, minimum $15 minimum, but California I'll probably add a little bit more. I'm probably going to put $57.50 on this and just take whatever. I'd imagine I'd get $25-30 for it pretty quickly if I want. I got some more things here. Now this is vintage 1920s, I'm guessing, somewhere in that range. Now this is a Mother Goose set. It's got all the little rhyme characters, wooden bases, real thick cardboard. I have no idea on any of these what the price is, what to put on them. This is just going to take a little bit of research, but it's got all the little fables in it. They're really pretty interesting items. Again, I'm not even sure how these go together. But there's a ton of characters. Pretty interesting, pretty early. The color just gives it away. It's actually the house, you know, a whole setup. There's the roof. It's got the roof, the floor, and all 4 walls. So it's pretty much all here. No idea what this is worth, but I got $5 into this. I figure I'm not going to get less than, say, 24, 25. I might even put like $50 on it and just take whatever. Maybe there's some comparables out, maybe not. A lot of these early stuff like this, there aren't any comparables, and you disguise the limit on the price. I mean, you get to set the price when it's just a one-of-a-kind or something oddball like that. But this is from a picker, so, you know, it's a good purchase again. Real good item. And then I got some photos. Now, these, believe it or not, were at the thrift store in the case. And I see stuff there. This is one of those out-of-the-way places. It's either hit or miss at this one here. Either there's nothing there or there's a whole bunch there, it seems. There's no middle ground. I only get there once a month, maybe twice a month at the most. I only go when I'm going to my picker, too. It's never worth the drive to go on its own, because it's almost an hour away from my house. It's like 45 minutes. The picker's 35, and it's an extra 10 minutes to go to that. It's for 10 minutes drive and 10 minutes back. For an extra 20 minutes, I'll do it. But I got some ambrotypes and tintypes here. I paid $5 for all 3 of these. They look like they're in real bad condition. At least that's what they thought. There's a complete one here with the top and the back of the case, so, you know, that's a good $15. But there's ambros and a tintype. To tell what these are, a tintype's literally printed on tin. It has the emulsion on the face of the tin. I actually have an acquaintance that I know that actually does tintype still, and he goes to the reenactments and does them. But it's still a process that's practiced. You can see them in colleges and stuff too. What you want to do is to take these out very carefully and hold them up to the light. If you can see through it, you know it's an ambrotype. Ambros are on glass. And what they do on many cases is they'll paint the back of it black so you can see it better. Or if they didn't paint the back of the ambro, it's got some black paper in the back so you can see the image. Without doing that, you can see through it too well, and it's not like a real good image. Some of the earlier ambros are done on red glass. So if you hold it up, you can still see through it, and then you can see the image as well. The red glass turns to almost black when it's in the case, so you can see it that way as well too. So you got an ambros glass, a tintype is tin, and the last one is a daguerreotype. A daguerreotype is made on brass. Same thing as basically the tintypes, but it's brass plate. And a lot of the early daguerreotypes have embedded or impressed into the brass itself the maker's name. And those are usually worth way more money. They're the earliest images, like early 1840s, maybe even early 1830s, maybe there was the first image, somewhere in that range. But the 1840s, I know they had them because the Mexican-American War from the 1840s, I've seen images of Texas Rangers and things like that. So they do sell. Again, this is another ambrotype. Images aren't, you know, super good on these. You know, they're just standard people. This one has an infant, but they still will sell. For $5 investment, again, here you can see they blacken the inside. That just kind of helps you see the image better. But for $5 on these, I'll at least get 30 or so bucks back out of these, regardless of condition or anything. But so for that price, I can't pass it up. And then I got some more smalls. As you see, I always buy small items. It's just a habit, force of habit. Here's some Civil War era dice. Now, I've had enough dice in my days. These are early. These are all bone, hand-cut, hand-drilled and painted in numbers. Right size, right shape, right wear, everything for Civil War. So in the Civil War section, these 4 dice, I might get 20 or 30 bucks for them, depending on the day of the week. And they came with a fork here, too. These 3-tine forks, I probably showed them in videos before. I buy them all the time. This was $1. I get 10, 15 bucks minimum a piece for these in that range, and I've sold them as high as $27.50 for these. I usually list them in the Civil War section or one of the military sections. Reenactors usually buy them. Here's some early. I'm going to have to see what these are. Maybe it's burl wood or something, burl dice, but these are very well made, very solid wood. Again, handmade, hand cut, hand drilled. No idea what these are worth, but I'd say at least 10 or 15 bucks. This whole box, all these little things here, I've got $2, I think, in everything, other than the fork. Yeah, I've got $2 in all of this here, other than the fork, and the fork was $1, so $3 total. Most of this stuff's, you know, cheapo stuff. You see the dice. This is like a key lock from Gulf. I'm not sure how this, yeah, you just slide it in there and it comes off. Gulf oil, just probably a little keychain. I'd probably put 10 bucks on it. Another keychain, it's Rohrbox Gulf. It's like a, I don't know, a little mileage counter here from a golf place. Probably 8, 10 bucks for a local advertisement. Here's a World War II keychain. It's solid brass. It has a nice image of a 48-star flag. This one here, I'll probably put like 18, 20 bucks on it. You already saw the fork. This is just a junk pocket knife. I may try to clean up this one. I think it was an Imperial or something. Camillus. And even in these condition, these little ones here, they can be cleaned up. I've got several other ones, and it was like a quarter, 50 cents total with this. I'll clean it up and put it in with the lot probably and get 3 to 10 bucks for it, somewhere in that range. And then I got a Pez. Now the Pez, if you're not familiar with, if they don't have a foot where they're just squared off and rectangled off on the bottom, they're the old ones. Now I've got 4 or 5 of these, so I was just going to put it in the lot. These go for a couple bucks a piece max, so that's why these are like lot items. But for, you know, for a quarter or whatever, it's worth the time because I'm going to get 2 or 3, 4 bucks for it probably. So those are the smalls, and I actually have more still. I'm not going to show you all these, but you can kind of see how many I got. Again, these are from my picker. He had, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 postcards. So, you know, I've got an hour and a half or so looking into postcards. Probably not that long, maybe only an hour or less. And that's what I got out of all that. There's a few I paid 50 cents because of the condition, but most of these were $1 a piece. You know, there's, you know, 150 bucks in postcards here. Maybe not quite that much, but somewhere in that range. I spent like 324 bucks today. The return on my investment is probably close to 2,200, 2,400, and that's including these postcards. I've got a stack of records down there. They're 78s. I haven't looked through the records yet. I know there's some really good ones in there, so, you know, there might be an extra 500 just in the records I got. But there's some nice advertisements, early roller coaster scenes. But the best part in here is there's a ton of San Francisco earthquake, the 1906 earthquake. It's a ton of these. Now, I usually get 10, 15 bucks for most of the earthquake ones across the board, especially the oddball ones. But there's literally a ton of these. There's probably 50 or 60 of just these. So, you know, $1 a piece, if I've got 50 minimum, and I'm literally minimum, and they're all from one of the same sets, all used, all original, all from the era, you know, that's 500, 600 bucks just in the earthquake postcards. So, you know, postcards do very well for us. Again, probably the majority of these are California cards. Probably 60% of these are California cards. There's a few real picture postcards, but for the most part, I wasn't lucky enough to get any real pictures. But average price on these, at least 10 bucks a piece for every card in this stack. So, you know, there's probably close to 1,000, 1,500 bucks in this stack right here. They're not big movers, so all these aren't going to go quick. I'm going to sell a bunch when I list them that same day, and then the rest are going to sit and be residual income, but they are going to sell. Again, I never worry about postcards. You know, I sell postcards that I've had up constantly. Today, we've sold like 17 postcards already, and it's only noon. Yesterday, we did like 32 postcards yesterday. Again, I've got my people listing. Yesterday, we've got over 300 postcard items up yesterday. So, you know, you list that many, you're going to sell a bunch. You know, and all what I sold yesterday wasn't just all the new postcards. Probably half of what we sold was new postcards. So, postcards always, always sell for us. Daily. You know, postcards have been going up because I'm listing more, so my daily average on postcards is getting pretty big right now. It's a big chunk of our business right now. That's just because that's what I'm selling and that's all my people are working on now. So, anyway, let's see here. I'll get them all up here, and I'll talk about them. I got some books. Oh, and I got a little tin too. Philip Morris cigarette, it's actually tin like a Band-Aid tin. This was 50 cents. They're probably worth $8-10. So, you know, I got a couple other tins. I'll just throw them together. These sell good in lots. You can increase the amount you'd get for one on its own by throwing it in a lot. And that's why I do set stuff aside. If I get $8-10, you know, singly, as a lot of a bunch of these, I might get $45, you know, out of a lot, and then raise my price to $10-15 a piece on each item, depending on what's in the lot. Now this one here, I have not seen this one here, or had it anyway. This is a Christie's auction catalog. It's a book for Marilyn Monroe's personal belongings. This happened in like the 90, 99. I've had these for, you know, Judy Garland, Princess Diana, all kinds of books like this. All these Christie catalogs for famous people sell very, very well. This one's worth like $50. I paid $5 for it. Well worth the $5 any day of the week. It might be even more on Amazon, but I'll at least get $45-50 for this. Like the Judy Garland one always sells for $20-30. The Princess Diana or Princess Grace or any of those are like $30 to $40 a piece. So, you know, people pass these up all the time. There's no barcode on it because they're only done for Christie's, for the auction, for the people bidding on it. So there's not a ton of these made, so they're fairly scarce to some extent. But I always sell this. This is a bolo every day of the week for me. And then I got these. Let me grab the records real quick just so you can see how many I got. But here you go. Here's a nice little stack. Again, $1 a piece. There's one in here I know that's worth like 50 or 60. So, you know, I've got like 20 bucks into these. Triple my money on one record. The rest in here are, you know, ones that I would say were good. But again, I haven't looked them up yet. I haven't looked at PopPsych or anywhere. So, you know, who knows? But there's probably a good 400 or 500 without even looking. I picked out through hundreds of them to get the best ones out of there. And I know the artists on these. I'm just not up on every single song by them, obviously. But so another good thing here. But the last of it here, these are vintage manuals. I got these 10 for $1. These are at the thrift store. They don't look like much. There was probably 60 of these there. These are for like shortwave and like tube radios. So I always buy these if they're the right ones. I looked up a few of these and picked the ones that I thought would be the best. Some of these I've had before because I've bought many radio and hi-fi items in a lot of tubes. I buy a lot of tubes occasionally when they're cheap in big, huge bunches. But these were there. These are, you know, for 10 cents a piece. They're about $8 to $10 every one of these. So, you know, there's 2, 4, 6. There's 8 of them. So, you know, $60 or so, somewhere in that range, take home for my, let's see, you know, 80 cents investment. So, you know, that's about what I got for today. I'm not going to show you any close-up stamp postcards. I've done a lot on showing you postcards. But that's literally the haul I had. This is just one day. I was out for, you know, almost 7 hours or so for the day. And that was literally my day, and then I came home and I did some listing and things like that. But that's my haul. Hopefully you saw something to look for, something you can use and sell yourself. If you liked the video, please hit the like button below, subscribe, and tell a friend.